Our lesson is titled A Call to Conversion. Our current issues with COVID-19, as it now enters the second year affecting the whole world. This represents yet another call to spiritual conversion, not only for Christians, but also for all women and all men. Many of us have had the experience of being seriously ill at some point in our lives, or even just having a well-founded fear of being sick. If we didn't give in to panic, we experienced a period that marked us spiritually, usually in a positive way. We realized that things and projects that seemed so important to us were ultimately contingent and transitory, that there are things that pass away and things that last. Above all, we became more aware of our fragility. We felt small before the world and before the great mystery of God. We realized that our destiny is only partly in our hands, even though medicine and science can do wonderful things. To use an ancient word, we became more humble. We also prayed more. We became more sensitive and aware and attentive to our relationships with others, and more aware of our surroundings, our environment. We were more grateful for the attention of our people and for their human and spiritual closeness. But then, as our strength returned and the risk was overcome, these attitudes of thankfulness gradually diminished, and we returned more or less to how we were before, sure of ourselves, concerned above all with our own plans and with immediate satisfaction, less attentive to finer things and our relationships. And prayer returned to the sidelines of our lives. In some ways, we must recognize that in sickness, we had become better spiritually, and that when we became strong again, we returned to forgetting God. The coronavirus is a widespread and shared illness. It's a common experience of incredible and unexpected fragility. It puts into question many aspects of our lives and of our world that we had taken for granted. This causes great suffering and upheaval. But is it only an evil, or is it also an opportunity? In the preaching of both John the Baptist and Jesus, there is a word that occurs frequently and often forcefully: convert. It is not a word we like. It questions us and frightens us because we sense that it is not an innocent term. Throughout the whole time of Lent, which has accompanied the coronavirus in 2020, from the beginning, an extraordinary coincidence in our Christian life, we have heard and felt the call to conversion. We have heard the great penitential prayers of the Old Testament, Esther, Azariah, and the prophetic cries that have always interpreted the misfortunes and suffering of the people as a strong call to conversion, to return to God. We must not see the misfortunes of the world in which so many innocent people are involved, as a punishment from a vengeful God. At the same time, we must not be so naive and superficial as not to realize the human responsibility intertwined with what happens, and not to remember that the history of humankind is steeped from the beginning in the consequences of sin. If this were not the case, what need would there be for Jesus to die in order to lead us and all creation back to God? Sooner or later, this COVID-19 will pass at a very high cost, but it will pass. We're all in a great hurry right now, and we're all longing for it to be over. We want to start again, to get back on the right track. This is normal. Solidarity obliges us to hope that the weakest among us will be spared further suffering. Hope urges us to look forward, and charity must be industrious. But will we be converted at least a little? Or will we immediately begin to try and tread the same path as before, returning to old habits? A fundamental Christian understanding of the encyclical Laudate Se tells us that in order to answer the great questions about humanity's future, we must first recognize that we are created beings, that the world is not our possession, but is rather a gift, that we cannot think of dominating it and exploiting it as we wish, or else she will destroy it and ourselves with it. On the basis of greater humility, before God can reason and science build or not destroy. Only on the basis of greater humility before God can reason and science build and not destroy. That's right now. We want to start again, quickly. We say that many things will change. Perhaps we think we have learned many lessons. Who knows? Maybe somebody did. We think we have learned many lessons about the healthcare system, about the school systems, about the digital realm and its possibilities. Even medical science will make further progress. But mostly, we seem to think of answers primarily in technical terms, in terms of greater efficiency and organizational rationality. This is all well and good, but COVID-19 is also a call to deeper spiritual relationships and conversion. A call not only for the Christian faithful, but also for all human people who remain creatures of God even when they do not remember Him. A better life in our common home, at peace with creatures, with others, with God. A life rich in meaning requires conversion. May you all have converting events during the coming week of holiday in the United States and of great events in other countries of the world. Peace to all. Amen.